Okay, guys. Tonight we got something a little different. Of course, I do not have my camera on yet. And if I sound funny, that's because I'm actually talking through 3 microphones, and I get it. I'm looking at the VU meters, and they are low. They're low for a reason, because I have the microphone set up to do something kind of unique. So, before everyone starts to throw me under the bus, this is something that I really just, I used to do this a lot. I used to love camping. And I would take my acoustic out when I went camping. And I used to love to play the acoustic guitar in front of the campfire and just, half butt songs because, I didn't know that many acoustic songs. Got to get my headphones on. This is my first attempt, and yes, there is reverb. I just noticed that. I put reverb on my main mic, and I'm using that as a room mic. So here's my acoustic. Now I'm going to kind of get some stuff moved around here. I am actually going to shut off those other microphones. Check. There we go. So you guys were kind of curious as far as my acoustic. And this is an acoustic guitar that I salvaged. This was supposed to be destroyed. And there's just something about destroying an instrument that can be saved. This particular guitar was bought by a professional musician. He was semi-professional, like I was, and it was pretty cool. From what the story that I was told, it was cold outside, and the guitar had sat in the man's van or truck or whatever he had. It was a whatever the band was using at the time, and they forgot to bring it inside to let it warm up. Well, after they had set up all the stage lights and everything, the guy remembered, oh, I need my acoustic. So he went out, he grabbed it, and he threw it right on the stage. And from what I was told, there was such a difference between the cold and coming in front of the stage lights that the neck pretty much warped in 20 minutes. It twisted, and it also bowed out. And K&B Music, which is no longer with us, that's why I say support your local stores. K&B was a great music store in Martinsburg, West Virginia. Closed down probably 8 to 10 years ago. We need to support our local stores. That's one thing. Because when they're gone, they're gone. They're not going to come back. End of that rant. Anyway, this was warranted item. And Breedlove, I'm pretty sure that's, or Love Breed, I think it's Breedlove, the name of the guitar. Yep, Breedlove. They warranted the instrument and told K&B to destroy this guitar and give the man a new one. I was pretty good friends with them, and I guess it's been enough time has went by now, no one can really get in trouble for the instrument not being destroyed. So I took it upon myself to fixture this guitar, and over a period of about a year of me introducing, I would put the guitar in a high moisture climate, and then I would dry it while it was in a fixture, and I would gradually move this neck to try to get the neck back in plane. Okay? It's very, 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 very close right now. To be honest with you, I don't think anyone would really detect that it's out. But I did get the guitar up and playing again. So this is my acoustic, and it is just an acoustic. There's no plug, no volume, no nothing. This is just a really, really nice acoustic. And it's got a very warm sound to it. I'm going to turn now, just so you know, let me see if this will show. Right here we have an SA microphone. Let me move this out of the way. We have an SA instrument microphone, and this one right here is an SM57, and this is my X1A that I'm also using. So what I basically did, I've already moved it now. Your mic placement makes a huge change in the way things sound. So I'm going to turn this one down and put some effects on this one. That's just this microphone. Now I'm going to add the 57 and the SA. You can hear the guitar. I know the reason why I don't do too much. Another reason why I don't do too much with open mics in the room. Let me turn off the effects on my main. It's just so much to turn on and off, guys. Running direct DIs and stuff like that, it's so much easier to do a live stream. But this is just so cool. This is what you would do if you were going to, record your acoustic guitar. Let me see, there's so many buttons. I'm sitting here talking to this one and the other camera's on. It's so cool to have multiple microphones. You can adjust. Each microphone's going to sound a little different. So you can blend a taste. And to thicken the sound, these two microphones are running through a Digitech Studio 200. So I have a little compression, a little reverb on these two. And when I run this overhead, I'm using the AG08, and I'm using one of the factory plugins to give a little bit of reverb. So I'm going to activate the plugin, the fake reverb that's on this one. Check. So you can hear that that's like a delay reverb. Now I'm going to turn this microphone off and let you hear the effects on just these two mics. You can hear it's completely different. Check. It's more of an echo and compression down here. So when you blend them all together, turn this mic down and scoot it away so it picks up more of a room tone. There's a lot to turn on and off. And then also to adjust the volume on this microphone. So the other week everyone was saying, out of sight, out of mind, we don't believe you have an acoustic. Well, here's proof. I do own an acoustic. And it was pretty much free for me, just a lot of labor to get the guitar straight. It's a beautiful guitar. Let me turn on the other light right here. That's a two-piece back. Just a single, it has a small white piece of binding with a black on the outside. That's a rosewood fingerboard, and I'm pretty sure this is a spruce top. I'm not too sure what the back and the sides are made out of, and the neck. The neck looks like mahogany, looking at the grain. And right here there is a joint where it's pieced. And this piece is not mahogany. This is whatever the side material is. If I can catch it in the right light, you can see the joint. But it's a nice guitar. I just don't really play acoustic that much anymore, guys. If you guys have most people have acoustics, so put down, right now in the chat, what kind of acoustic do you own? Do you play it? That's the thing. So much so much pressure. It's not like playing electric. So when we play our acoustics, you get so much more strength in your fingers by playing an acoustic guitar. And when you go back to your electric, you'll notice that you just start bending way out of key. But I think it's good to pick an acoustic up and play acoustically. Drop the effects, even though I know I'm playing effects here, it's not dry. But just pick it up and play it. Let me turn back on the other microphones here. So I'm going to move this mic back a little bit. I'm also going to add a little bit of reverb on that mic. Blue Mock says, Fender Starcaster, $100 guitar, works great. That's what it's about. I know I got reverb because I put reverb on the overhead. Brian says he has my father's old Ovation. Nothing wrong with that, man. Steve says Ibanez acoustic, don't play it much. Okay, Steve, that means you gotta start playing that thing. Fox says a Dreadnought. Ooh, a Farmus or Framus. I think, ooh. Okay, Vox, now you're just rubbing it in. Oh, sorry, Devastator says he has a Yamaha F335. Time Surfing Alien says Alvarez. I like Alvarez. Kirk says Washburn. You know, I don't think I've ever played a Washburn electric. I mean acoustic. I know they made them, but I don't think I've ever played one. Thing on this little ditty I was doing right there is this chord right here, because you have to play the B and the high E open. Doing that transition's hard. Especially, I think this is the first time I've played this acoustic in probably a year. So, needless to say, I probably should play it more. My fingers, sorry guys, my fingers have really gotten to the point where they're they're not tough anymore. I've been playing electric, and they're just, you know, not as tough as they used to be. So that's my acoustic, and never fear. And I think I posted this once before. When my little Yamaha amp is hooked up to the computer, excuse me, fellas, it cuts itself off. And I haven't quite figured out why it does that. But it goes into timeout and shuts down. Okay, back to what? Had to get that out of my system. There's just something about gain. I just like gain. Not that I dislike playing the acoustic. I do like playing the acoustic guitar. I just like, I like gain. I like the guitar just to scream at you. Now, I have a cord going out, so that crackling you're hearing, I hear it more on my side. I went back and listened to the stream. It's not as bad on your side, but I have a cord failing. Basically what I'm doing, I'm coming out of the little THR10, out of the headphone jack, right into the interface. And that little quarter, it's a 1/8 inch headphone jack that goes to a 1/4 inch. That little adapter cable is taking a dump on me. Completely pulled that out of my butt, but that's okay. I just had to get that out of my system. Well, I do need to turn off these two mics, and I have to reach over to my Mackie to do that. So let me reach over here real quick. Which mics are they? Okay. So the little bit of reverb you were just hearing, that was these two microphones going into the Digitech. I don't know if you can, if the Digitech's in frame. So if you look at the rack to the right of the screen, there's a 1U rack at the very top, and it says studio. It's blue with the green screen. That's the DSP unit giving the effects that you heard with the acoustic guitar. If you have old rack gear, everyone was tossing it and saying it's not good for anything. You can repurpose gears, guys. You know, modelers model that type gear. If the gear is no good, then why are they modeling it? It's like people down tube amps now, but yet the modelers are modeling the tube amps. If all this stuff is so horrible and the new modelers are so good, why are they modeling stuff that's horrible? Just putting it out there. If you have this old equipment, it still sounds good. It sounded good when it was made, it can still sound good today. Even though I'm doing like a hybrid system, half interface to computer to YouTube, I still run my rack tube amplifier. I love my rack tube amplifier. I still run my old rack effects. It has a place. That amplifier sounds far superior to any modeling amp I've had. When I do the stream, I just find that this little Yamaha for 320 bucks, actually most of the time when I'm playing here at the house, I play Linnell's little Yamaha amp. It's just easy. It's one power button. I plug the guitar in. It's run into the Mackie. It goes through the control room monitors here. Done. It just works. There's a time and a place for all kinds of equipment. So don't throw this stuff out, guys. Like I said, the stuff was good. I still run, I have a Sabian RT1600 rack mount tuner right here. It's extremely accurate. Could you get anything for it? No. If I put that thing on reverb, I might get $50 for it. To me, why get rid of it? It's a great tuner. I keep it up here for quick tuning. I used to use intonation, set intonation with it until I got my strobe tuner. Is this tuner more accurate? Sure it is. But I already have the rack mount tuner. It's way more accurate than anything most people had back when I was playing out. And what's nice about it, it has a big LED screen that swings back and forth. When I was playing live, I could just turn around, look at my rack, and if I saw red, I knew I was out of tune. When I saw the green light in the strobe, I knew I was spot on. And it would detect chord structures. It would tell you. And if you were in tune on your open, you started doing chords, then you might see a sign that maybe your intonation's out a little bit. It was great for that. I still have some DBX 262 Project 1 compressors. They work. Right now I'm running a 286 on this microphone that you hear right here. It's an old rack mount unit. There's nothing wrong with that channel strip. If you've got a DAW and you're using plugins, I get it. It's easier. What I'm saying is there's no sense if you're my age. Most of my rack equipment is made in the United States. It's not when Digitech went overseas. It's not when DBX went. I think I might have one foreign-made rack mount unit, and that's it. And that's my Mayato time clock down here, world time clock, that I use to sync my DP32, my Kai. That way everything is in sync. It's my main time clock. Everything syncs to that, if that makes sense. I don't think that one's made in America because it was only like $1,400. So that's most likely an import. But everything else I have, it's USA made. It was solid stuff. If you're in the market and you're looking for a nice digital processor to add some things to, just be careful with rack mount stuff. There is a difference between a line signal and an effects signal. So if you buy one of these units and you're not getting any effects, it's most likely because it needs a line source signal. So verify that the back of the unit will have a cut, like it's usually 10, 15, 20 dB cut. If you're not getting a signal, switch it. A lot of the rack stuff was designed for your guitar to go in to a channel, and then you used an auxiliary send to boost that to the rack module, and then you returned it to two new channels, and you would blend on the back side. So if you're just doing like an effects loop on your amp, sometimes the rack units won't work, so you need to make sure that you're not cutting the decibel. You're not cutting 20 dB off. So if before someone says it doesn't work, just make sure that you're not set up for it to be used in like a mixing environment. Your effect send and return on an amplifier is different than using an aux send and a return on a board. That's why you have that dB cut on the back of some older units. In case you didn't know, I learned the hard way too. I had my first head, Marshall, and it had an effects, and I tried to plug, and I'm like, how come I'm getting no effects? and a sound guy come up to me, you're not getting effects because it needs to see a line signal, and you're not giving that. So just a heads up for it. But we did have a little thing that went on Discord. We have a channel member, Birdman. He wanted to kind of go over something with you guys. Everyone's heard of Heritage Guitars, okay? Heritage builds guitars in the old Kalamazoo plant, as I understand it, in Michigan. And it's the old Gibson plant. My Gibson Explorer that I bought, it was a custom shop. I worked 2 years or a year and a half, something like that, at Skyline Caverns, making about $2.25 an hour. Now, before you say, oh my God, you must be old, we got tips. So minimum wage at the time, I think, was $3.25 or something. It was not much. But since we got gratuities, they didn't have to pay us minimum wage. I worked for a long time to pay off that Gibson, and it was made in that plant. It was a phenomenal playing Explorer. I got rid of it because at the end of a set, it was killing my shoulder. That thing was, it was like strapping cinder blocks to your guitar strap and playing all night with it. Plus the long part of the horn sticking out of the back hit everything on the stage, and the banana headstock, the way it positioned, the neck stuck way out, and you just felt like you were playing like this. Plus the tail of the guitar stuck out. The headstock and the tail on the guitar was really pretty scarred up when I sold it. It had been well loved, but the guitar played great. So the question on Discord was, if you had to pick and you were in the market for a Gibson Les Paul, would you do a Heritage, okay, or would you do a Gibson? And what was said on Discord was the Heritage is more of a Gibson than the Gibson is. Because when Gibson packed up shop and moved to Tennessee, they didn't take any of the tooling with them. Okay? I think they did take their hollow body press. Okay? But I don't think they took too much. And I'm pretty sure I remember them saying when they first moved it, they regretted moving the press to laminate the tops. But now they're glad they did, because that's an original tooling from the original plant. So I do know that they moved their press to do the laminated hollow body tops, but most of the stuff stayed, and they updated their tooling when they built the new plant. So a lot of the Heritage stuff is made with the old stuff Gibson was made. I don't know what your all's opinion of that is. Is it more of a Gibson? I know the Gibson employees, from what I understand, I don't know if it was 2 or 3 or how the ownership works there, borrowed the money to buy that and had a deal with Gibson. They can make X guitars and just change the headstock. That's why you don't see an SG. From what I understand, they had a deal with Gibson that they could do these guitars as long as they changed the headstock. And I believe that's grandfathered in for as long as they want to do it. And I'm pretty sure that's why you don't see Heritage making an SG, because originally that wasn't part of the deal. And since the Les Paul was so, well, it's the Gibson with a different headstock. Since it's so classic with the classic tooling, they don't want to upset Gibson. So they're not going to go to them and say, look, we want to make an SG and put the Heritage headstock on. I get that. I think if I was in the market, from what I understand, Heritage has a little bit better reputation of the X quality comes out of the plant. What I hear from Gibson is it's either going to be a really, really good one, a so-so one, or it's going to be awful. And the old saying is, you're going to buy a Gibson, make sure you play it first. That just didn't happen for no reason, guys, because Gibson makes great guitars. That you can go out and you can find a Gibson that just plays phenomenal. But there's the ones out there that they made that just are horrible guitars. That's kind of given Gibson that reputation of play it before you buy it. Heritage, on the other hand, I'm sure they've made duds too. It comes down to how many great guitars versus duds does the company make. I can't speak for Heritage because I've never owned a Heritage. I can say that well, technically one new one and one used Gibson that I did own, my new Explorer played fantastic. I don't think I've ever owned another guitar that played as effortlessly as my old Explorer. But I think the reason it played so effortlessly was it had very short frets. The frets weren't very tall and they were real wide. And it gave the guitar a really played in feel. But at the same time, it was hard to get pinch harmonics and stuff like that out of the guitar. But as far as playability and chording, it played like butter. And the other Gibson I had, very similar, a little bit more bite to that guitar. It was a Les Paul. I didn't have it for long because when I was young, you'd get something, you'd need beer money or rent money. You would sell it to get whatever fancy thing that you wanted for the band. I got the Les Paul. I think it wasn't around more than 6 months. It wasn't that I didn't like it. I just played my Vandenberg and my Peavey Nitro more. And they were just more fitting because of the tremolo. But I wanted the Les Paul for the more classic stuff we were doing. And it just turned out to be, I didn't pick it up and play it enough. So I ended up selling it and buying some different kind of gear with it. So my experience with Gibson has been extremely good. I can't say anything about Heritage because I've never owned a Heritage. So if anyone in the chat has owned a Heritage, you can kind of give Birdman an idea. I have not heard Heritage is hit and miss. From what I understand, Heritage builds a very solid guitar. Like I said, the employees at Heritage when it first started were all Gibson employees. Now, that's been several years ago. So how many of those original Gibson employees are still out on the production line at Heritage? I don't know. These are all really good questions. But I'm sure those original employees, as Heritage grew, they taught the new employees as they went on to management positions or whatever they did. So it's definitely Gibson, if that makes sense. It's a Gibson building technique. It's Gibson tooling. For the difference, the only thing I don't really care for the Heritage headstock. Say what you want. Our Heritage is probably $1,200 cheaper than the Gibson or $1,000. Is that $1,000? Is that headstock worth $1,000? If you like it, personally, to be honest, I would probably do the Gibson. And I know that coming from me, that's pretty sad. But Gibson still has the name, if that makes sense. It's nothing taking anything away from Heritage. Gibson is like Fender. If you buy an American-made Fender, it's going to hold its value. If you buy an American, well, all Gibsons are American-made. If you buy a Gibson, and not a cheap one, because Gibson does make some $2,000, slab top Les Pauls, like a tribute. Talking about buy a custom or a studio, something that's got a nice arch top. It's going to be $2,500 to $3,200 for a standard Gibson Les Paul. That guitar is going to hold its value. It's not going to lose 50% of its value in 2 years. You might lose 25% of its value, but that's pretty good because when we buy guitars like Ibanez, okay, and I know this is true. Now we bought this one new for $450, which I thought was a good deal. But I know right now I can get on Guitar Center and I see this guitar, for $299 used, and it'll say mint. Now Linnell bought an RGA Ibanez, which I love. I love that guitar. That guitar plays a little bit, is it this much better than this one? She only paid $250 for that guitar. And when she brought it up to me, I thought it was new. We were at Shenandoah Music, and I'm like, "Oh, you like this one?" She goes, "Yeah." And she goes, "Well, it was over on the used rack. It was $250. That's half off." That guitar was brand new. So whoever traded that guitar in, they had to make money at $250. So they lost a lot of money. Now, that goes with the Gibson too. If you trade the Gibson in, they still have to resell it. But are you going to, at a $3,000 Gibson, and they're not going to sell that Gibson for $1,500 for half the price. They're not. So at $1,500, they need to make $400. So they're going to give you $1,100. You're not going to lose that much on the Gibson. They're going to put that Gibson up at $2,400, $2,500 if you've taken care of it. Worst case scenario, maybe $2,200. So that means you're going to still get $1,800 for it. That's not half a loss. You're still above. And that's worst case scenario. You can look on Guitar Center now. The studios, they just don't lose that much. Heritage, how much does Heritage lose? Does anyone know on the resale value of the Heritage? And it's, like I said, it's nothing about the quality. Heritage, they sound good, they play good. It is a Gibson. It's made with Gibson tooling by ex-Gibson employees. Not taking anything away from it. But you got to look at the resale value. It's an expensive guitar, and sometimes our expensive guitars, we can really get hurt on them. Now, I see that a lot with Kiesel. And again, I want a Kiesel. I would love to own a Kiesel. I know it's a great made guitar. I know it's made in the USA. But like Gibson, Kiesel and Gibson have one thing in common, okay? Well, I won't even say Gibson, because Gibson falls short on this. Gibson does have an import line, Epiphone. Kiesel doesn't do that. Kiesel doesn't make a cheaper import like a Paul Reed Smith SE. Kiesel holds to their gun. Everything they manufacture right now is USA. It's made right there in California. Is that a smart decision? I don't know why you would manufacture anything in that state. But they chose California, and they make it work. Even though California might suck for business, Kiesel is still making it work. If you go to Kiesel and you build a Kiesel, you get a lot of options. And if you went to BC Rich, if you went to Jackson or any other custom shop and you did the same specs, it would be twice the money. I know people say this. Eventually, Kiesel, they're going to raise their prices. They have to. They're in California. It's USA made. But right now, Kiesel doesn't do the import thing. So I respect that. Heritage used to do that. But they jumped the shark last year. Was it last year? Heritage brought in their import. I mean, I get it. Here's the philosophy. In this little squirrel brain, this is why they do it. If Heritage comes out with an $8,000 signature yada yada guitar, okay, people are like, "Oh my gosh, it's $8,000 or $5,000 for this Heritage Special Edition Lemon Burst with Heritage Pro Bucker pickups," whatever Heritage, it's not Bucker, that's a Gibson thing, whatever it is. They establish that price. They can turn around then and go, "Okay, let's make an import version of this guitar and we're going to sell it for $2,000. People are going to look at that and go, wow, why would I pay $5,000 when I can get the import for $2,000? Well, they're going to make a lot more money on that import because they're just farming it out, bringing it in, inspecting it, and sending it. The overhead, as far as stacking boxes on this side of the warehouse, you could put a lot of guitars into place of a molder and a shaper and a CNC machine. Does that kind of make sense? So that you can have a lot more money sitting and rotating, floor space wise, on an import than you can machinery building. But they jack up that USA price to where when they release the import, you feel you're getting a better deal. But I personally think they make more money on that import than they will charging $3,000 more for that USA made guitar. That's just my little squirrel brain. I could be completely wrong because I'm just a CNC programmer that works for a company doing woodworking. Okay? I don't know anyone at Gibson, don't know anyone at Heritage. This is just what I see in manufacturing in my trades, okay, which is custom woodworking. We don't build guitars, but it's still CNC process. We're still processing wood products. I see how difficult it is to get consistent mahogany, consistent ipe, consistent zebra wood. It's hard to source products from your vendor and that vendor keep you in supply of a consistent quality product. So if you buy, let's say we buy 5,000 board foot of mahogany, how much of that mahogany will we actually be able to use? Because it comes out in random lengths. Okay, so you might not be, it might end up with half a slab for a body on the end. Okay, so that's 10 or 12 inches wasted. Let's say your board width doesn't come right, and now instead of being a 2-piece, now you got to do 3-piece bodies. Or 1/3 of your shipment doesn't allow for a 2-piece body, it'll only do 3-piece bodies. Do you have something in your product line that you can use all this? Because you don't get to say, I want only 8-inch wide boards or 10-inch wide. You're going to accept whatever. It sells by the board foot. So you might get a 4-inch board and an 8-inch board. That's one board foot, X length. Does that make sense? Because it goes by 4/4. Okay, 4/4 is 1 inch thick. Once it's finished, you don't have an inch. So if you're trying to finish a guitar at 1 3/4, you better buy 8/4 stock because you're going to lose all that material. So that's all wasted in the shaper, out to the dust collector, out into the garbage bin, where Georgia Pacific comes and picks it up for free to make plywood. And you're like, well, why would you give your wood chips away for free? Because no one wants it. And it costs you money to dispose of it. So if you call Georgia Pacific or Allied or Advantech, they will supply a dumpster underneath your Cyclone, okay, and they'll come and pick it up. No matter whatever you're processing, let's say you fill that thing up in a day, they'll have a truck out there to pick that thing up, and it's free. They'll supply you your dumpster, and you don't have to worry with it. And they get chips. It's a win-win for both, because normally I would have to dispose of that. There's not enough farmers that can burn that and process that in the field. It's too much wood product waste. That's what I'm saying. You got to do something with all this extra material. So when Heritage and Gibson are running so many of these guitars, it becomes a problem for them to source continuously good woods. It's just hard, guys. It is. Everyone talks about mahogany. Believe it or not, there is an American mahogany. Okay, it's not, everyone says there's no mahogany in the United States. That's actually not true. The problem is with American mahogany, you're going to pay 5 times the price board foot wise for standard material. versus an import. Most of it comes from the Brazil down, down the other part of America, down that region. There are Honduras mahogany, Malaysian mahogany. There's a bunch of different mahoganies that source from all over the world. But there, believe it or not, there is an American mahogany. I hate when people say there is no such thing as American mahogany. It does grow here. It just grows in a very small quantity on the other side of the country from where I'm at, and it's extremely expensive. It has a much brighter red color to it, and it has a deeper grain. It almost looks like let's say, a flat sawn piece will kind of look like quarter sawn white oak, grain wise. It's more stripy, more pronounced, more black red. It's a beautiful wood, but it's extremely expensive. So Gibson doesn't even use it for their tops. But this was a topic that was asked. I think for me, I think I would just go with the Gibson. Everyone's heard me on the stream say my dream guitar is a Gibson Les Paul arch top with P90s. That's my holy grail guitar. And I'm saying that as a tremolo guy. I love tremolos. But there's just something about that guitar it's just a guitar I want. Would it be something I played a lot? I don't know. It would probably be smarter for me to buy a really nice Les Paul with humbuckers in it. But there's something about the Les Paul P90. I could always do a Gibson Les Paul with humbuckers and then put the Seymour Duncan's got a P90 with a hot rail next to it. So you get the P90 by flipping the switch, but you flip the switch down the other way and it becomes a humbucker. How much does it sound like a conventional humbucker? I don't know, because a P90 is a hot rodded single coil. So if you put that next to a single blade rail, I hear they sound good. I don't know how that compares to an actual humbucker, but I could always go that route. For me, I would go Gibson. I don't know if you guys have put up what you would do, but for me, I would stick with Gibson. And again, nothing against Heritage. I just think the name on the headstock and it's past trade, what the guitars were worth in the past and what they do on the market right now. If I decided to sell it, I think I would be better off with the Gibson, because I know me. I would probably buy the guitar, play it a lot for a couple months, and then kind of move on. After 2 or 3 years, I would probably look at it and go, how much do I play it? Would I sell it? I don't know. I do have a couple guitars that I will never sell, guys, and I'll go through that list. But when you're purchasing something like that, you don't know if it's going to be one of those, I must keep this guitar. It's a must, I must keep it. If you don't know, then you need to think about that on the backside. If it doesn't bother you, then I would do the Heritage. If the headstock doesn't bother you and you know you're going to keep it, I think the Heritage would be a well, you're not going to go wrong either way. But I think if you've got the Heritage, you'd save a little bit of money. It's a keeper guitar for you. Do the Heritage, if that makes sense. I'm going to look at the chat and see what you guys are saying about it. Isn't Heritage made by the old Gibson guys in the old Gibson factory? Yep, old tools. Yep, exactly, Niles. It's pretty much everything Gibson left behind, and by the old employees that went and borrowed money to purchase the plant. And I'm sure they worked out a deal with Gibson as far as money to Gibson for trademark stuff. That's how come they're allowed to do such a 100%, well, it is a 100% replica body-wise of a Les Paul. The only thing they've changed is the headstock. So that's my 2 cents on it. I don't know what you guys think. That's what I would do. I would do the Gibson. That's just me. And I've talked about it before. I think the Gibson with the P90s, if they come out with like what I'm waiting for is the mahogany body with a maple cap and a translucent red center that goes with a red, where it goes translucent to non-translucent red on the outside. That would be with the like the cream pickups and nice chrome hardware. I don't want gold. I want nice chrome hardware with the cream knobs and the cream pickups. They could even put the tulip tuning keys on it with the. That's fine. Gibson can get away with that. You put the tulip tuning keys on anything else with the cream, I'm not going there. But on a Gibson, I could do the tulip. I could do that on that guitar. That would be my dream guitar. And if they come out with a different color that has that pretty burst, like a lemon burst, where it's the darker brown to the lemon, I could do that too with the gold. I think that would be a beautiful, beautiful guitar. Now it says I bought a Gibson because I was always my dream guitar. I was just saying that now. It's my dream guitar too. A Les Paul with P90s is my dream guitar. Vox says there are some great videos of Angus Young playing his SG with P90s. I didn't know Angus did a P90 SG. That's good info, Vox. I might check that out. P90s are awesome. Everyone kind of, it's a P90. It's an in-between pickup. If you like the nice chimey sound of a single coil, but you like the beef of a humbucker, it's a good in-between pickup. I love P90s. We just did a build. I took it out of the room now because of the acoustic. I just did a double cut and put Dylan Talk Tone P90s in it with CTS pots. That's a great sounding guitar. I mean, those P90s, the Dylan Talk Tone P90s, they're nice pickups. Another shout out to that Dylan Talks Tone. He does some nice P90s, guys. Sometimes I dream of a Gretsch Falcon, Warhart Arts. Don't know if I know that model. I do know the Falcon. Yes, I do. Yeah, that would be a cool guitar. Blue Mock says cherry or wine red LP custom with gold hardware. Ugly as hell. Love looking at mine. Does that make any sense? Okay. He just said it was ugly, but he likes looking at it. Okay. I like the wine red Gibson does. That's what I was saying. The translucent red going out to the non-translucent red. There's something. It looks like, I don't know what Gibson does, but it looks like you could just put your hand through the finish. It's like, okay, how deep is that? It just looks like it's this thick when you look through it. And as you move it, the top kind of changes. Gibson's nailed that process. Whatever they're doing with that red, it is freaking awesome. Let me see. Gibson is the anchor, though. Laugh out loud. Oh, yeah, exactly. 10.2 pounds. My Explorer was a little heavier than that. It used to break my back playing that thing at night. Wine on gold can work. Yeah, I can see that. Like I just said, I think I'd want mine to be chrome. And the only reason I want chrome is the new plating is done so thin. If you play it, you're going to wear through the gold plating on the bridge. So the chrome, if you wear through it, it's still metal underneath and it's not as obvious that you've worn through the chrome. I do like gold. It's just keeping it nice looking. I don't know if that's something to do with the electroplating or the quality of the electroplating they're doing, but it's almost like the tuning keys get discolored really quick. They get like blotchy looking with the gold. And it could just be, I'm used to a lower price instrument. And when you get to maybe when you get to that price point guitar, the gold plating is better. I just, every guitar I've had with gold plating, other than my Epiphone, has issues. And before I say, well, it's Epiphone, it's Gibson, I haven't played that guitar. That guitar doesn't get near the play time as some of my other guitars. Okay, so I'm not going to say that their electroplating is superior because I know that I don't have the hours on that guitar to wear through that finish yet. But I know if you played it, I would think it's an Epiphone. I could be wrong. If someone knows better than me, I don't know. I've never owned a Gibson or a Heritage or a high-end Fender with the chrome to see if it wears through. Vintage translucent cherry or whatever they call it. Exactly, Steve. That's a beautiful color. That's the color I want. I want that in the center, but I want it to bleed into the Gibson red on the outside. That cherry red. To me, that would just be the bee's knees on color. Because in the center, like I said, that translucent looks like you could put your hand through it and then fade out to the solid. That would be beautiful. That's just me. That's what I would want. That's like my dream guitar. Right, Steve said I like the look of smoked chrome. I do like that look. And another look I'm starting to like is this torched look, where it gets the purple and the yellow and the green, and it kind of looks distorted. That's kind of coming around. I've seen a couple guitars with that. They call it torched, heated, distorted chrome or whatever. Maybe it's nickel, heated nickel. That look is kind of, I might do a guitar with that someday. The more I look at it, the more I'm like, hey, that's kind of neat looking. It's different. If anyone knows what I'm talking about. Warhard Arts, that color or a flavor? Exactly. Heritage Cherry. I don't know what the Heritage Cherry is. I know what the Gibson Cherry and Cherry Wine looks like. Translucent Cherry Jolly Rancher. Exactly. I could do that. That would be a cool color. Iridescent. A glow-in-the-dark Gibson Les Paul. Yeah, you could probably get away with that if you had what they call lumen lay-in dots. Just saying. Sugar-free. No, Warhart, if you're doing it, it can't be sugar-free. You just take extra insulin when you're playing the guitar and you'll be spot on. Watermelon. Oh my God, you guys are jumping the shark now. All right, guys, if you're familiar with the stream, we're at the 1 hour mark. We're going to take our first break. If you're unfamiliar with this channel, thank you for clicking on it. This channel's here for product information. We do reviews, we do guitar fixes, and we just talk guitars. You do not have to be a subscriber to get in here and chat. We want you to chat with the guys that you see to your right. Everyone here is super cool. There are no commercials. I depend on super chats to fund the channel, to buy guitars to review and buy guitars to give away. And that reminds me, before we go, we are ending our guitar giveaway at the last Saturday of this month. Okay? That's when we're going to be going through who gets it. And Devastator and I are already working on it. All you have to be is publicly subscribed, and you have to go to Discord and log into the opt-in room for the free giveaway, and you're entered to win. But we have to end it at this point. It's been like 2.5 months. Everyone's had plenty of time to enter this for this Fender Player. It's a Fender Player guitar. It's a beautiful guitar. Okay, Niles, thank you so much for coming in. Niles works a night shift, guys. That's why he comes in on the beginning part and then disappears. So thank you so much, Niles, for coming every week. It means so much to me when you guys come each week. I mean, it really does. I can't express my gratitude enough to you guys. And that's what I was saying. The people to your right, they fund the stuff. They fund our pedal giveaways, they fund the guitar giveaways, and when stuff breaks here, they've actually said, Avery, just take the super chat money, buy this or buy that. It has happened. But it's really just to keep the channel honest. You'll never see an infomercial here, and if you subscribe, I promise I won't blow up your inbox with a video every day. We do 2 live streams every week. Oh, thank you so much, Blue Mox. That right there pays me more than YouTube would have given me in ad revenue. So we're already in the plus, and the other $2.50 will go towards the next giveaway. So thank you so much. 100%. And Blue Mox, for whatever reason, it doesn't allow me to give you the thumbs up button. It locks me out. So everyone give him the thumbs up button for doing that. That's cool. Well, we're going to take our break. That's how this channel works. We try hard. I want you to subscribe, but we want you to also go look at the main page, look at the reviews we've done, look at the guitar repairs. We try to do valuable content, if that makes sense. I don't do something to appease the YouTube gods. So anyway, guys, let's take our 5-minute break. That gives everyone time to get a drink, get some victuals, hit the restroom, and when we come back, we'll move on to the next topic. All right, guys, it's a little bit of a break time. Okay, guys, I am still technically on break, but I hit the wrong button. Oh, I meant to switch screens to go over to the YouTube screen, but that's okay. We're further enough along in now. I was looking at. I usually go in the kitchen and I sit with Linnell, and C.D. Nelson says, "Love hanging out when I can. Love your in-depth dives into guitars are second to none." That means a lot to me, guys, because I started doing this to offset other channels, and just the demo stuff. I'm a decent guitar player, but I'm not good enough to be a demo channel. So I try to, do a little bit of clean, little dirt, little distortion, give you a bunch of different sounds on what the guitar can actually do. But then I really give you an in-depth, how is the guitar made? That's more what it's about, is the general quality. Everyone knows you can get a bad one, you can get a good one. We're reviewing one guitar, but if you look at it, and you can look at this channel and in we'll call them repeat offenders, and you can start to get a good idea on what companies manufacture decent products time and time again, or the companies that you might get a really winner for your buck, or you might get that's what it's about. There are companies that I haven't done reviews on that I want to bring in, like IYV. I hear a lot of good things about IYV guitars. I think it's time for us to bring one in, and I've been thinking about it. And we're supposed to get, well, the 21st falls on Sunday this month, so maybe with this month's YouTube check, we're going to order an IYV for a review. It'll be our first one. I do want to touch base. I also want to get a Jet guitar on the channel. I hear a lot of good things about Jet. There's nothing wrong with the sub $500 guitars. I've said this time and time again, what we look for is the best bang for the buck. If we can get a sub $500 guitar that has good pickups in it, has good tuners on it, and it's good out of the box, I call that a winner. It really is. In today's world, that's a winner. When you stop and consider what the average guitar price is now, and I'm not talking, let's take Murphy Labs and all that stuff out. I'm going to say your average guitar price right now is probably $800, and that's just for your average guitar. So if you can be below average price in the fives and you can do a good guitar at that, that's a winner. If you can be under 400, then that's when you can start making changes to the guitar to make it your own, if that makes sense. Especially if you're in the 320 price mark. Then that gives you some playroom. You can change the pickups, maybe put tuning keys on it, but it needs to be a solid instrument to start with before you do that, if that kind of makes sense. I think I've said it. You don't want to take a guitar that has low frets, do a fret level on it, put pickups on it. You're kind of defeating the purpose. So what we need to do is hold companies accountable. And I know people will say, well, it's a $250 guitar. I used to get told all the time, you're picking on a $200 guitar, like let's say Firefly. That's fine. When you watch reviews on YouTube and the frets are spotless, everything's perfect. When you go to order that guitar and you receive it and it's not like a lot of YouTube channels crow it out to be, don't necessarily be upset with the infomercial that you watched on YouTube. Contact Firefly, contact Solar, or SBS, Steve Brown Sound. Hold them accountable. It needs to have good fretwork, okay? At bare minimum. Make sure the frets are level and it's playable. make sure your electronics work, and make sure your fit and finish is good. Okay? If that's what you were sold, that's what you should receive. You have to hold everyone accountable. I very rarely return guitars, but I returned a $1,500 Ibanez. Why? I want to hold them accountable. I received an Ibanez, and in my feelings on it, it was below standards for a $1,500 guitar. Now, if that guitar would have been $700, I would have been okay. But at $1,500, I wouldn't go above $8. With the issues that my PWM 20 had, $800 would be the cutoff point to go, okay, this is too much for the problems this guitar has. I returned it. And Sweetwater did some funny things there. They put the guitar back on their website. Didn't even say it was unboxed. And some subscribers here reached out to Sweetwater and said, look, we know that guitar went to Music and Gear. It's the same serial number that he reviewed. That should be sold as open box. And you guys did get that change done. They did change it to open box. That being said, Sweetwater did take care of me, and they refunded my money and let me apply that to a different guitar. So service on the back end was from Sweetwater. Sweetwater took care of me. Ibanez did not. Okay? Did Ibanez get an email from Sweetwater? I have no idea. All I could do was return it to Sweetwater. Okay? I never sent Ibanez a message saying, I paid $1,500 for this, and these were the issues. So if you buy a Firefly and you're planning on doing a project guitar, pick one that has good fretwork, bare minimum, and your fit and finish is good. Take the neck off the guitar. If it's a bolt-on neck, check your neck pocket. Make sure you have a nice, flat, well-machined neck pocket, and the neck fits in the body nicely. There has to be a little bit of movement. That way you can align the strings. But it shouldn't just flop around, and you should be able to put the neck in the guitar with no bolts and the neck stay in the body. It should fit that well. If you have that and good fretwork, yeah, go ahead, do some nice pickups, maybe change the tuners. It's going to be a solid guitar when you're done with it. You may have to polish the frets. These are guitars under $500. I call them fast guitars. They're made fast. That doesn't mean that you can't get a good one. What that means is there's very little hand time on the guitar. They're not going to spend a lot of time dressing the frets, polishing the frets, making sure everything's perfect. Thank you, honey. See, break time. My machine that makes the cocoa takes a little too long to actually make cocoa. So I got to get it on the second half. But hold them accountable, guys. If you're buying something that you're going to hot rod, start with something good. In the back end, you're going to end up with something much better. If you purchase a brand new guitar and you turn around and you got to fret level it because there's a low fret means you got to cut them all down to that lowest fret. If you got a high fret, okay, maybe you got one or two little spots on a high fret. That's not bad. You can resolve that. More than 5, I don't think I would mess with it. Even though it's a $300 guitar. I just wouldn't. That's just me. The point is to have something that's solid that you can build on. If you've got to put tuning keys in it and pickups in it, I hate to say it, a good pickup set's going to be $200 if you got 2 humbuckers. And a good set of tuners is going to be $60 to $80. So you've almost put the whole guitar, what you spent for the guitar, in pickups. Now you're in the $500 and some range for that guitar. There's a lot of guitars on the market at the $550, $600 price range. can you purchase that guitar, the $500 or $600 guitar? Is it comparable to that budget guitar after your mods? These are the things that you gotta weigh out. Now, if you like doing it, like I love doing it for you guys, I like buying instruments. At the end of the review, we fix them and then we resell them. Got no issues with it. It helps fund the channel and gives you guys information if you're thinking about purchasing that one. But we always try to fix them the best we can, depending on who's buying it. They might want a full rebuild or they just want to fix the issues as cheap as possible, and then it goes out the door. I get it. It's a budget instrument. But if you're buying it for a project, make sure that you don't cross that line to where you couldn't take the funds of parts and guitar and your shipping and just purchase a better instrument. That's why what I like so much about this guitar. This is a $450 guitar. I like the way the pickups sound. It holds tune great. It's got good tuning keys. I don't have any issues with the tuning keys slipping. And the exact same thing with my, well, not mine. Both this guitar and the RGA are both Linnell's. But the RGA is just as good as this one as far as holding tune, same tuners, just a different body. I do like this one because of the thin body. It's very light. So you can play this guitar all night long and not have any shoulder fatigue. You're not going to... This to me is a winner. At $450, I can buy this guitar and I can rock it all day long and not have an issue. If I was going to do anything to this guitar to upgrade it, I might put a pure tone jack in it just for the extra security of a pure tone jack. Maybe some locking tuners. But I just don't see it, if that makes sense. The guitar is good the way it is. Maybe in 2 years or 3 years if a tuner fails, maybe then put some nice Godo or, hip shot, some kind of nice locking tuner on it. But right now, I just don't, there's no reason to replace the tuners. It tunes well, it holds tune, it doesn't slip. Pickups.
Brian has to go.
Oh, okay, Brian. Linnell did tell me that you entered in on the guitar giveaway. Thank you so much. You got really good odds, man, of winning the guitar. So, like I said, the last Saturday, we're ending the... I don't know if we'll do a drawing that night. We might go through the list. I don't see why we couldn't. Devin Stater and I need to get together this weekend and get it set up to where we can both do a split screen. I don't see why we couldn't do it on Saturday. But that will be the last day that you can enter 100%. And at worst case scenario, it'll be the following Thursday we'll do the giveaway. So it'll either be Saturday or Thursday. I'm hoping Saturday. So probably the cutoff might have to be Thursday if we're going to do Saturday, just in case someone comes in late and there's lag or something. I just don't want anything unfair to happen. Like someone comes in late on the stream Saturday and we've already got them loaded. So we might have to end it on Thursday and do a drawing on Saturday, or end it on Saturday and then the following Thursday do the pull. But you got a little bit of time to log in to register to win. But back to this. If you bought this guitar for $450, and let's say in the future you do want to put a hot rodded pickup in it, you could just put a bridge pickup in it for $100. But again, that's personal taste.
Birdman said, isn't Switchcraft just as good?
Switchcraft makes good stuff. There's no doubt that Switchcraft, on this particular guitar, as thin as it is, I don't know if you could purchase a Switchcraft switch that would fit in this guitar, as thin as the body is. Now that is why they put this piece in, to elevate the blade part of the switch up. Okay? That is why that Ibanez is doing that, because it's so thin right there. So the Switchcraft switch might be able to go in it. I don't know. And you could also look at this bridge. Could you put a hip shot bridge on it, add some mass? You could. But remember why we bought the guitar. You're buying the guitar to have a solid budget instrument. That's what you're buying it for. For $850, you can buy this guitar from Ibanez that has the nicer bridge on it, locking tuners, fixed based. So again, you got to look at the advantage to buy this and modify it. Then you kind of get to pick what tuners, what pickups. So I get it. But start with something decent. Whether it's a Firefly or an Ibanez or Steve Brown Sound or a Solar or a Harley Benton, whatever it is, just make sure that it makes sense for you, that when you're said and done, you don't go, wow, I got $800 in this guitar. Could I have purchased something for $850 that would have been as good? Some of you are already saying, well, you just put $500 in a Firefly double cut. I did. So I basically got $750 in a Firefly double cut with P90s. I can't buy a double cut guitar with P90s. Mine does not have the dog ear P90s. I'm not a big fan of the dog ear P90s. No one makes a double 2P90 double cut guitar with what I call some of the best P90s that you can buy. Whether it's Seymour Duncan or Dillon's, they're top-notch pickups. There's nothing on the market that's going to do what that guitar can do at that price point. If I get into the $1,700–1,800 range, yeah, there's a couple guitars there. But nothing in the $800 to $1,000 market that I've seen that I could compare to that Firefly. To the way it plays now, and I'm not giving anything to Firefly. I did have 3, and I picked the best one out of the 3 to modify. Why? Because I wanted to make sure every fret was perfect, so I did a light fret level, because there was only like 1 or 2 little spots. But I went ahead and did a level, and I reshaped all the ball end frets, redid my crown on them, you know, did all new wiring, CTS, orange drop pots, tone bleeds, the Dylan Talks tone, and the Pure Tone jack. It's a solid instrument. It makes sense to me because there's nothing on the market that I can buy that's equivalent to it. Does that kind of make sense? Plus, it was a good couple videos on leveling the frets and doing stuff like that. Will that guitar stay here? I don't know. It is one of my dream guitars. Again, it's a double P90. Would my Gibson that I was just talking about before the break, would it play any better or sound any better than that Firefly? Now that I've modified it. Probably not. It probably wouldn't. It comes down to if you want it. I want a Gibson. This guitar, I'm sure, would hang right with that $3,600 Gibson with P90s that I drool out on Sweetwater. I'm sure of it. But it doesn't have the finish that we were talking about, the translucent red or the linen burst that I love that Gibson does. It doesn't say Gibson and the aloe, you know, the fancy, when it changes, the light hits it, it changes colors. It doesn't have that Gibson logo on it. It doesn't have the it's just something about it. It's what I, growing up, saw, if that makes sense. It's a Gibson. Does that make any sense? Probably not to some people. Because I just said the Firefly would probably play as good or maybe better in some cases than the Gibson. But it's not a Gibson. And I know I'm contradicting myself as I speak, but as a guitar player, you guys have to know what I'm talking about. There's got to be something that you want that actually makes no sense whatsoever why you would want it. But it's just something that you want. And that's one of the dream guitars that I have. So the purpose behind the Firefly was to kind of scratch that itch, to get that sound, to get that playability, and still have a traditional looking guitar. A double cut guitar is very traditional. So that's what I built. So I get why people do it. Searching for tone. Yeah, I know Searching for Tone's laughing at me because I'm contradicting myself left and right. Because that's what we do as guitar players. we can poo-poo something over here, all the price. But if you want it, you want it. That's the only way to put it. That's why I don't say too much. If someone wants to go out and buy a Sir or something like that, or what's that, James Tyler guitar, I think the James Tyler has the ugliest freaking headstock of any guitar on the market. That's a one fugly looking headstock. But if you want a James Tyler, because it's a James Tyler, then you're going to pay $5, $6, $7, $8,000 for it. I hear they're great guitars. I've never played one. But if you want one, that's the price tag. There's people out there that feel that guitar is worth that money, and they willingly pay for it. Just like a Gibson, just like me and my Les Paul with P90s that I want. Someday, I'll buy one, and I hope it's a good one. You know, for right now, I did the Firefly. That's cool, and don't let me take anything away from that guitar. I played it the other week. That is a fantastic sounding instrument. It plays fantastic. It feels fantastic. Like I said, would the Gibson play any better? I kind of doubt it. And if it did, then that would definitely be one of those holy grail Gibsons that you would keep forever. Because that guitar plays fantastic. So if you handed me that Gibson and I just instantly went, oh, this thing's like butter and it sounds sweet, that's it. Because we were just talking about Gibson Heritage. You can get a bad one. But if you get that sweet one that just has that sound and that feel, and you look at it and it makes you want to pick it up, that's a keeper. That's a guitar that you don't get rid of. And I talked about it earlier, where I said that I'd go over the guitars that I will never sell. As of right now, I'm going to say that I have 3 guitars that I will never sell. I have a 1988 PV Vandenberg. It's all original. It shows signs of love. It was played out professionally for the whole time I played out. My second guitar is a PV Nitro Active that's been highly modified. There's very little PV left inside of it. But it did start out life as a single humbucker active PV Nitro. It's basically a Vandenberg without the reverse headstock now. Because I did put the off, I actually turned the pickup the opposite direction. So it's not really a neck pickup, but it's not a center pickup. It's just set up like a Vandenberg. But it doesn't have the reverse headstock. And it's active. So that's my second guitar that I will never get rid of. My third guitar that I would never get rid of, I have a 1986 Kramer Pacer Imperial in the flip-flop color that goes purple to like I'm going to say like an orangey red kind of. It's called a flip-flop. It's all original, mint. That guitar is in phenomenal, well, it's mint. If I took it to a guitar place and hung it on the wall, you'd swear it was brand new, that it was a remanufactured guitar. But it says Kramer American right on it. It is a 1986. I don't think I'll ever sell that guitar. It's just a work of art. It plays great. Those are my 3 I can't get rid of guitars. That's just me. I can't think of any other guitar that I have that I'm not saying that I wouldn't struggle getting rid of some of my other guitars, but those are kind of like the guitars that unless something catastrophic happened to me and I had to get rid of everything, I could go down to those three guitars and just say, okay, this is all I can possibly have. I would continue to play my beat up Vandenberg and my beat up Nitro and keep my Kramer mint in the case. That's just me. Everything else, I don't want to call them, well, guitar is a luxury item. We don't need guitars. We really don't. But as far as my other luxury items, I think I have a nice selection as far as different styles of guitars. I've got a hollow body. I've got my Nashville Stratocaster, two totally different sounds. I've got a Fender FMT that I love that gives me that Les Paul sound, but it's a Fender. I have an Alex licensed Les Paul that's a phenomenal instrument. Again, everyone knows I'm an Adventist. All I can say is thank Yeshua for blessing me to be able to put me in a position where I can do these things. But I work hard, and you can ask Linnell. I pack my lunch. We pinch pennies over here to be able to do this over here, if that makes any sense. Just like our motorcycles. We might not go out to eat for a couple months, or this month or that month, to get Linnell a new riding jacket or a pair of riding boots, or because that's another hobby we have. We like riding our motorcycles. So just like motorcycles, music's the same way. If we run across something that we want, we'll go, okay, how can we make this work? What do we need to give up so we can have this? And I know I'm not the only one that does that. We all live on a budget. That's why everything's relative. That's why when I paid $1,600 for that Schecter, to me that's a lot of money. For someone else that's buying Murphy Labs that makes six figures a year at their job, that might not be a lot of money to them. So it becomes relative. That's why I like talking about these guitars. What I call the sweet spot guitars. If you're strapped and you've got to find a good amp and a good guitar and you're on a budget, something like this and this little Yamaha amp, holy mackerel, $320 amp and a $400 and $50 guitar. When I was learning, the entry level decent guitar was $800. Anything under that was a POS. And when I say POS, it was a POS. You had to spend, in the early 80s, it was $800 to get something that played decent. And I'm saying decent. We're not talking phenomenal. We're talking decent. Now you can get a great playing guitar and a great sounding little desktop amp for under $800. I mean, I've said it so many times, we live in an age now where if you can't get something that appeals to you guitar-wise at $800, you're very, very picky. And I'm picky. I know I'm picky. But I can find products that I love playing in the $450 mark. And I'm picky. That's what blows my mind about some of the guitars we've recently had on the channel. Some like the Schecter I just got for $1,600. As you play it, the pickup rises. It's a $1,600 guitar. Now, how much did they check that guitar at the factory? That's a production-made guitar. So unless someone put the wrong screws in mine, they all have to have that exact same screw. So no one at the plant has said, oh, we got a problem with this pickup rising. And it's happened on the live stream. I'll be sitting there playing, and the pickup just comes up and starts hitting the strings. That is bad. When you stop and think about purchasing an instrument at this price point and you have no problems with it, and then you spend 3 times the amount of money and there's a problem with it. That's why I always like to do the reviews that go circling back when they were talking about, someone said they thanked me for doing the reviews I do. That's the point of it. I'm not here to down any product, guys. I mean I want the best bang for buck just like you guys. That's why I don't sell my rack mount gear like I said earlier. Where else am I going to get a true digital effects processor that the modelers are emulating? I already have them. I can repurpose these. Are they as easy as a plug-in? No, they're not. But I can still use these to do other things, and the plug-ins, doing the live stream. Just like when we were doing the acoustic earlier with these 2 microphones. It's more work to sit here and have this mic hot, then change the effects and do this and then talk and then switch it back. It's just more work. If we can do an acoustic that plugs in through a modeler direct to an interface, you still have that problem. It's an acoustic. So your voice microphone is still going to be affected by the acoustic guitar. So that's kind of a unique scenario. But when I play this guitar, it doesn't affect my overhead microphone. It just doesn't. Let me get a drink. Linnell's guitars are only touchable if you're willing to get the El Cabong. Yeah, from the frying pan. I don't need to read the rest of that. I know where she's going with the Cabong on the frying pan. That's an inside joke if you guys are new here. I'm just trying to catch up. I did see I had Searching for Tone was in here earlier, so it's good to see Searching for Tone. I was on his stream the other night just kind of chilling. I do that a lot. Sometimes, guys, I'll go and I just hang out. So if you guys do a live stream and you don't see me, good possibility I'm just kind of chilling out in the background and I'm listening to you as I'm doing other things. Last night I made a comment at the very beginning of the stream when he was doing, and then I just I was eating dinner and doing a bunch of things, just kind of watching what was going on. I do that quite a bit. So I'm always happy when I see, especially other channels that come in and sit down with us. That means a lot to me. It really does. Let me see. What else? Am I missing anything, hon?
No, they're talking about me using the frying pan on you.
Oh. See, everybody's up talking about Linnell beating me with a frying pan. That's not good.
Oh, and that you wear the pants and I zip the zipper.
What's that, honey?
That you wear the pants and I zip the zipper.
Yeah, exactly. That's been an ongoing thing for some time. Now, whenever the last time was that we used the Yamaha, it's already shut itself off. So we have to turn it back on.
Birdman says, Avery, consider a tease guitar. Customer service is bang on.
Yeah, I've been thinking about tees. It comes down to, this is a very small channel, so it just comes down to funds. So we're just now starting to get through selling off some of the guitars. I have 3 more to get rid of. It comes down to every guitar that comes here that gets a review, it needs a home. That's why if you guys are thinking about purchasing a guitar, you could send it to me, especially if you want modifications. We can do a review on it. I can modify it and then send it back to you. Or when I purchase a guitar, if you guys want it, let me know. If you want it in its stock form, that's cool. And if you want me to fix something on it or change something on it, we can do that. That just rolls the money and that keeps the channel moving. That's a heck of a guitar for 450 bucks. Is this the best sounding pickup ever? It's not. But I tell you, I like this pickup so much, I'm going to get some on Reverb, and I'm going to put them in some other budget guitars. You can pick this pickup up for like 20, 25 bucks on Reverb. You can get both of them as cheap as like 40 bucks sent to you. I mean, they, these pickups scream, man. I miss fretting them quite a bit, but they just. And before someone, there's a lot of channels, and I used to think this too, they would look at the ohms rating and go, oh my gosh, it's 16K. They don't pinch and scream like these. These are like between, I think these are 8.5 to 9K. Yeah, I mean, it's not a stupid hot pickup. But they have a nice breakup and they pick up the harmonics. That's the big thing. These pickups pick up the harmonics so well. They've got a So don't necessarily rule out an 8K, a 9K, or a 10K pickup as far as being bitey and just being throaty sounding. They can have that sound. That easy. Drop tune, right back, it holds. This guitar is stupid. Same with the RGA. I forgot it was an alternative tuning. You can't go to the either, can you? You guys sound like poop. Where's the E? But that's the point of it, guys. There's so many things that we could do. We get caught up, and I do too. I get caught up in guitars, and I always resort. What's sad is there's a lot of expensive guitars here, and I always come back to this one and that stupid RGA, and. Took me a second to realize on the where the B the drop the D was. It always takes me a little while. I don't know if you guys play with the different tunings. It takes me a little while to get my head around when I change the strings to go, okay, where do I actually need to play? Yeah, it takes a little while to get. All right, maybe it's just me.
You just got a super chat.
Oh, CD Nelson, thank you so much, buddy. See, I haven't had a computer crash, so my little stupid button still works. And if you didn't watch Searching for Tone the other night, you will not know what the heck I'm talking about. That's an inside joke. If you didn't watch his stream, go over and check his stream out. He had some computer things, and I thought he did good, even though he was saying he lost a bunch of stuff and he had to reload stuff. I thought it was still working good. He does so many cool things on the screen. I need to hire him for lessons to figure out how to do all that stuff. But mine still works. Until my system crashes, and then we'll go back to like dial-up modems. It isn't that easy, just the point is, the tuners work. I just come right up from the drop. It's not slipping. So when you roll back, just make sure you go down just a little bit and then bring the tune back up just a fraction. You're not going to have any problems as long as your tuners are decent. Now, if you misfret like that, then you might have problems. This guitar and the RGA just blow my mind. And I'm hoping another instrument comes in that door at this price point that puts these to shame, because they would just be phenomenal instruments. Right now, these two guitars they're blowing my mind for what you get at the $450 price point. Just a great sounding pickup. Now, granted, I know it's high gain. People are like, oh, high gain makes anything. But we've played it clean. They sound good on the clean, too. So let's switch over to clean, actually. Woo! Boy, that's a gain difference, isn't it? Get that down a little bit. Gonna roll the volume back just a little bit on the guitar. Second position. It's a good sounding guitar. So you can hear that it does a little bit of everything, and it does it well. This is our third position. It helps if you play that in the right sequence. If you don't play every day, guys, and I haven't played, actually, it's like 3 nights that I didn't pick up the guitar. Playing guitar is definitely one of those perishable skills. And it's not just picking it up and playing. Anything that you know, make a list. Play things that you know at least once every 2 or 3 weeks. If you know 50 or 60 songs, and for me, that was my struggle. If you don't know, when I played out, retention on multiple songs was my issue. So make a list. You don't have to play everything every night, but go through it. Keep it semi-fresh. Like this little ditty here. Just keep it fresh. Play it a little bit. This little ditty. Just play through anything that you might know. Go through it. Pick 15 this night, next night. Then do your typical practicing thing. Whatever you're practicing at the moment. What's that, honey? Neck pickup. Let's go up to our 5th position. It's very nice. The neck pickup sounds good. A lot of people like the 4th position. So let's do our 4th position. And these are ceramic. And everyone just went, oh, now I don't like them. That's what people do. Oh, ceramic. They're ceramic. There's nothing wrong with ceramics, guys. So I used to poo-poo ceramic because I would pull the ceramics out and we get this false sense of we want to think it's better. You'd put upgraded pickups in. Oh, I got rid of those ceramics and put these in. How much better was it? Did you A/B it? Of course, we always look at it tainted. I did this for years. And I would say starting YouTube and playing as many guitars that I've played through different amplifiers, what makes this change, what makes that change. I hate to say it. This isn't where your sound, some of your sound's coming from it, but most of your sound is in your amplifier, okay? After your amplifier, speakers. It's what it does. Right now we're doing a model. This is all fake. It's a modeling amp with an IR. There's no sound. Watch. See the meter back here? Check, 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 check. There's no speaker in the room. Everything you're hearing is an ambulation. Been a long time since I did that. You can get a different sound by everything you do will change and affect the sound. But here you go. Ceramic pickups. I like this guitar. I like the pickups. Okay, guys. I don't mean to call it a short night, but I have a hard day in front of me tomorrow. And I do need to get some rest. Saturday night stream, if you got questions and topics that you all want to go over, we go to Discord and you're going to see topics for live stream. Go there, post what you want to talk about, and then it's open forum. Just like the first part of the show, we talked about Gibson and Heritage. Everyone gets to come in, get their point of view on what they would do, what they feel about both things. It's not just me here. The channel is you guys. You guys make the channel. The topic and the discussion flows by what you all post, and that's what it's about. So if you want to open up the floor and have a new topic and something you want to go over for Saturday night, go to Discord, go to that room, and post, hey, let's have a discussion on this. Whether it's ceramic pickups, Sonico pickups, active pickups, we can talk about that. We can talk about what I just made a comment on. How much does your speaker actually change your sound? I say it changes it a lot. I've got Celestion greenbacks in that cabinet. That cabinet over there has Celestion V30s in it, and the cabinet right here has Celestion Pentas in it. And if you're new here and you don't know what a Celestian Penta is, look it up. They were phenomenal drivers made for PV, and they're Penta head and Penta cab. They were custom made by Celestian to PV specifications that actually says Celestian Penta driver on the back of the speakers. Phenomenal drivers. I can leave my amp exactly the same and just change cabinets, and you would be surprised at how drastic the sound change is between the V30s, the Pentas, and the Greenbacks. So if you want to have those type conversations, go to Discord, post what you want to kind of go over. I do want to get to one thing though before we end the stream. I did buy the parts for the Firefly. So I would like to take a night and take this guitar out. I want to do it live, okay? How difficult is it to pull this guitar apart and put this bridge in it? Because you can't tell me people that bought this guitar are having good luck with it, because the bridge is horrible. So I think it would be good information for people that did buy this Firefly guitar that are having issues with it. And I know there's tons of people having issues with it. I've seen the posts on other people that are having problems with it. So let's take this guitar apart, put a new bridge in it, and see what we can make of it. I'd like to do that on Saturday. If you guys want to do something else, we can put this off till Thursday. I know Birdman has sent us a guitar, and I want to thank him 100% for ordering the guitar and sending it to me for review. And of course, everyone knows anything that I find wrong with the guitar, I'll talk to Birdman and see if he wants any work done to it. Hopefully the guitar will be spot on and it needs nothing. That's what we're actually looking for. We're looking for the budget guitars that don't need any work. So let's hope Birdman's latest purchase won't need any work. It's supposed to be here on Saturday. So if it comes in on Saturday, we'll probably just do an unboxing. Hey, here's the guitar. Look at this. It's cool. Type deal. And then we'll do a full review on it this coming Thursday. So this one we may have to do on Saturday. If Birdman's guitar shows up, we can do an unboxing and then maybe pull this guitar apart and replace the bridge. It's not going to be difficult because supposedly the Goto bridge is a drop-in replacement, and I think with a 3-hour stream, I think we could do it. I think we could take the strings off this guitar, get the new tremolo in, and restring this and get it tuned up in 3 hours. It'd be close. If we don't finish it, then we could just pawn it off to the next coming video. But unless you guys want to do something different, that's kind of what I'm thinking about for the next stream. And of course, the whole topic thing is there too, so it depends on who goes there and puts in topics. The channel's based on you guys.
Birdman said maybe play it a bit. He's talking about his guitar.
Yeah. We can definitely, well, see, it's kind of like the review thing. I think we can unbox it, look at it, and then first sounds and everything ought to come with the review, if that makes sense. But we can, if it comes, we can definitely open it up, look at it. I don't want to rush into a review because I've made mistakes when I open the box and just rush into it. So I'd like the guitar to be here a couple days, let it acclimate, tune up the guitar. That way it's not moving around, if that makes sense. The first 24 hours the guitar is always moving around, so it's kind of not fair to pull it out of the box and just, review it. It gives me a couple days to play it, let the guitar acclimate, it'll stabilize to the house, tune it up, then we'll see how stable the guitar is. Alright, if you didn't know, you don't have to be subscribed to chat. I just saying. I don't think that's cool. I want you to be able to come in and chat and join in and participate. That way you get to know everyone that's here. We're trying to build an open community between the live streams and our Discord, I think we have that. It's a group of people that share ideas, share what they're doing on their digital signal processors, how they record, modifying their guitars, that all kinds of stuff going on over there. So between the two, I think that we share a lot of ideas, and that's what it's about. If you haven't already, please go down and hit the thumbs up button. That helps YouTube push the video out for other people. Usually it takes YouTube about 24 to 36 hours before the live chat reappears. So if you're watching this and it seems weird because you're not looking at the live chat, a lot of things are based on the live chat. Once the live chat does come up though, I do monetize the video, so you will have to watch a couple commercials. So join in for the live. Be here during the live. It's a different feeling. I get it if you can't catch it live and you're watching later, like a day from now or 2 days from now. I get it. But just keep in mind, if you come during the live, there's no commercials. So sometimes I actually forget. Sometimes it's like a week later. So hopefully you got lucky and you were able to watch it without commercials. Alright guys, like we do every stream, we're going to do the 5-minute ending window. And that gives everyone 5 minutes to finish up their conversations, talk and chat. And I want to thank everyone that did a super chat during the stream. That means so much to me. It means so much to Linnell. It allows us a little funds to keep the channel going, to do things to make the channel better. Anything the channel purchases, you guys see. And we also purchase things to give away. Right now we've got a guitar that we're giving away, and you guys paid for that guitar. So it'll be the last Saturday in September. That's where we're ending it. And I got to get with Devastator and find out if we're ending that night or if we're ending on Thursday and then doing the giveaway on Saturday. One way or the other, you got to register now to get in the drawing. You got to be publicly subscribed to the channel. You got to go to Discord, go to the opt-in room, and say, I want in on the free guitar giveaway. And that's it. You're entered. And right now you got stupid odds on winning an $800 guitar. Again, thanks guys. And here's going to be our closing window. And I hope to see everybody Saturday night. And I'll probably talk to some of you on Discord on Friday night. So thanks again, guys. I couldn't do this without you. And every time I do this, it blows my mind that so many people come and hang out. It sounds kind of cheesy to say, oh, it warms my heart, but I guess it does. It just blows my mind. We got a good thing going on, and I want to keep it that way. So let's get the channel bigger, get more people in, tell your friends, hit the like button if you haven't already subscribed, and I'll see you guys Saturday.